with the DataViews component. That is the component used in WordPress core to power some of the new changes in the UI that are happening lately in the admin. So let me show you what I'm talking about. If we go to any WordPress installation, for example, using Playground, and if we go to the site editor, here, for example, in the pages, we have this UI. Okay, we select a page, we get a detailed view of each page in the right side, and again with this. But if we go to templates, we can see a similar UI, but with a different layout. For example, this part is similar, but the layout is different. This is a grid view, while this one is a list view. And we cannot change the layout. Yeah, we can change this one here from list to grid, and we can also select table. So we have the three of them. And if we go to list, we go back to this view where we can see the detailed view in the right side. So if we go to the grid view, we can see this is similar than the templates view. And here we can do the same. We have the three types of layouts available for us to choose from. So we can choose the table layout and the list layout. And the same with patterns. We have also this view, and we can change here the different types of layouts. But also this view allows us to do several things. For example, we can search. I guess that we can, for example, if we look for pricing, we can get this pattern. We can also filter by the status. So we can filter by synced or not synced. We can also sort by different properties, and in this view we are only allowed to order by the title in ascending or descending order. What else? We can choose the fields we want to show. Here there are few fields. Let me see if there is in this, for example, in the patterns, we have more fields. For example, we can choose to hide the author, and we can choose to hide the description, for example. And also we can select the number of items we want per page. And this UI is the same for templates, for patterns, and for pages. So how has this been developed? Well, the component in DataViews. Let me see if I can find. Okay, if we go to the block editor handbook and we go to the packages references, there is a package called DataViews, and this package contains the DataViews component. So this component is the responsible of all the UI that we have just seen. So only with this component we can set we can implement a UI to display our data, and also enable a lot of features such as sorting, searching, filtering, decide the items per page that we want, and a lot of things. And all of that is managed by this component. I'm going to share some links. So for example, I'm going to share some links in the chat. If I copy, paste this here. Yeah. So I have shared in the chat the link to the DataViews package documentation in the block editor. So what I'm going to do today. We have in WordPress this repository in the block development examples, which is a collection of examples to show how to work with blocks. How these are examples of developing blocks. So you have different types of blocks with different features, and but also some developments that are not strictly blocks, but they are using like WordPress components. So yeah, these are examples for development for the block editor, but also for the admin. So this list of collections in this repository, all this table generation, for example, relies on a few JSON files. We have the JSON files here in that. So the examples.json is a JSON that contains the list of all examples. And as you can see here, we have a slug, a description, and some tags per example. And then we have another JSON that contains like the public text, like the label for each tag. So the thing is that, okay, this like this repository has the logic to automatically generate this table, and also whenever we go to a specific example, there is also an individual table, and in each table we have links to go to the folder. We have a link to download the zip containing the plugin, because each one of these examples at the end are plugins that register different types of things, mostly blocks. So we can download the zip to install this plugin. And also thanks to Playground, we have here a link to see this block in action. So we have this table, which is great because it compiles all the examples that are available in this repository, and actually you could look for the tags you want to find. For example, if we are interested in examples about interactivity API, we could just do interactivity, and we can quickly find the examples. But this is not very elegant. So it would be great if we could have similar UI for these examples, and that's what I'm going to try to implement. But in fact, I have already a proof of concept of this. So the proof of concept is using the JSON data available in these JSON files to and then leverage the DataViews component to display this data in a React application, which to start with, doesn't need to be in our WordPress installation. We just need a React application. So let me show you some of the code that I have for this. So in the block development examples, there is a folder called app where I have put all the React application. To create this React application, there is a tool called Create React App. Yeah, the Create React App is like the official command line tool to scaffold a React app. So we can, if we want to create a React app very quickly, this is a great way to start. This is in WordPress, for example, if we want to quickly scaffold the structure for registering a block, we have a similar command that is called create block. So if we want to the block editor, if we go to the getting started block development environment, here you can find an introduction to the CLI, and as you can see, with this command we can quickly scaffold all the structure we need to register a block, which at the end is going to be a plugin that registers a block. But this also provides some packages that needs to be installed, some scripts that needs to be run, and some files that can be included. So yeah, it simplifies by a lot the process of create a block. So for React, it's similar. We have this command line to create the React app. So that's the one that I used to create this this React application. And what it did, this tool, is to create a package JSON with some dependencies. I think there were these dependencies, the ones that were installed by default, then some scripts, and then some other properties. And everything starts here in the index.js. So what do we need is an index HTML, that is this one here. This HTML file has a specific div with a specific ID, which is going to be the place where we are going to insert our React application. And with this ID root, this is the one that we use here. So we select the element with ID root, and in that position, we insert the React application by creating a root for React, and then we insert the specific component. And the component we are inserting is the app component that is defined in another file. It's defined here. And in this component is where we are going to import the DataViews component. And the DataViews component is available in the DataViews package. So in order to use the DataViews component in our React application, we need to install the package. And we can do that by doing npm install --save. What this flag does is it does not only install the package, but it also adds this package to the dependencies list. So the next time anyone else wants to install the dependencies for the project, that person just needs to go to the root of the project and run npm install. And that command will install all the dependencies that are in this package JSON. So it's a good practice. Every time we are adding dependencies to our project, not only install it, but also adding that to the list of dependencies of the package.json. So we install this, and then we install WordPress DataViews. What is the exact name of this package? Well, we can go to the documentation and we can see that this is the name. And in fact, the flag, I think it needs to go at the end. So I'm going to, well, I have the package already installed, but this would be the right command to run. So once we install this, we will get the package installed in the node modules. We are also going to install, I don't think, I would say, okay, let me try this. Let me try something. I would say that WordPress components is already a dependency of WordPress DataViews. So we don't really need to add WordPress components, but we are going to do one quick test. I'm going to remove this. And I'm also going to remove this. And I'm going to run this command, the npm install WordPress DataViews save. Once we install this package, I'm going to check the node modules to see if the what does it say? Npm install cannot read properties of null reading. Npm. Okay, npm. Okay, I'm going to restart just to see, because I don't understand this error. Don't know what's going on. So, okay, let's go here and let's do this. Npm install DataViews -- save. Okay, I know what's happening. I have removed the node modules, but I haven't removed the package -log JSON, which contains the tree of dependencies, and it's like a reference to find an internal reference for npm to find the right packages where they are, their location. I think that's the issue. So I'm going to remove also this. So this is like I never had installed anything before, and I have to try this. Okay, so that wasn't the issue as well. Okay, I know what's happening. We are in the root of the project, but we really want to work only in this app folder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the app, because this is like a isolated ecosystem we want to create in the block development example. So I don't care of the dependencies that are happening in the repository. I just want to focus on the dependencies that are required for this React app. Okay, so now that we're here, then I can run this. And in this package.json, I should see how the WordPress DataViews is added to this package.json. Okay, we can see that the node modules folder has been created. It's already doing stuff, and we can see the new dependency. And if we go to node modules and then we go to WordPress, yeah, we can see that we have the DataViews component, but also the components. So yeah, we don't really need adding the components. Why is important that we have the components? Because there are some styles that are required to load, and we will see this later. Okay, so we have the foundations under control. I'm going to, and now we can focus on the app. Okay. Now we can focus on the app. I'm going to put this. Okay, I think this is better now. We are going to open the app. Okay. So what I have here is a proof of concept that I did a month ago or 2 months ago. I don't remember when, but this component has changed a lot. So I need to update some of the things that I did, and I'm going to do this publicly. So yeah, to start with, this is how I am importing the styles for this for the DataViews component. Let's run the React application to see what we have right now. How do we run the React application? With some scripts that are already inserted when we scaffold our React app with the create React app. So if we run npm start here, okay, let me check one thing, because I want to check if because I removed the node modules. Okay, I removed the node modules folder to check if the components package was installed automatically just by installing the WordPress DataViews. But now there are some other dependencies like React, React DOM, that I'm not sure if they have also been installed. I'm checking this. Let me see if we can see something like React or something here. Yeah, we can see this. My guess is that whenever we have installed the dependency, it has already installed the other dependencies available in the package.json. So we should be fine. Let's run npm start. And it has opened a new window, but I'm going to copy the URL here. So this is what we have. As you can see, this is the similar UI that we saw here in the editor. So this is the table layout. So if we choose here the table layout, yeah, it's similar. It's similar. Okay, so we have this working, but there are some updates we need to do to the code. So this is fine. We are importing the data views. Then we are importing this function that it does a lot of work for us, and I will explain this later. But yeah, these two things are going to be commonly imported from this package. And then we are using, okay, bear with me 1 minute because I need to connect the plus for the battery. Okay. We need to create state variables, and in order to do that, we use this hook, and we're using this here. So we are also importing the styles because React uses internally Webpack. Every time there is a CSS imported in a JS file, Webpack will take care of generating the final bundles for that CSS as well. And those bundles, if I run npm run build, yeah, I have here the build, we have here the index, and then the static, which includes the CSS, and the main CSS, as you can see, contains all the styles for data views and all the style for the components, they are all here. And these styles are properly linked from this index.html. The path used is custom relative path, because something that has to do with the final place we're going to deploy the page, but yeah, I guess that we can explain that later. So coming back to the app.js, then we import the data, which is the same data we saw earlier. This is the list of examples. In fact, we can console log this. And if we go here and we inspect console and reload the page, okay, this is not working because we stopped the server, but we can launch the server again, the local server, with npm start. So this will generate a build, and also will watch for changes that I do in my code to create another build, but also is launching a local server. So we come here. Yeah. So this is the list of examples that we are importing from the JSON. And then we have the app React component. Do also const app equal, this is the same. And here we have the DataViews component. And the DataViews component, if we go to the documentation, these are the props that the DataViews component needs in order to properly display the data. This prop data is the prop that receives the data itself that is going to be displayed, but we also need to take care of updating this data. This is an array of objects, but this data needs to be filtered whenever we apply filters, and needs to be ordered whenever we apply orders. So to do that, we have this function here. So we'll check how to do that in a minute. Then we have the fields prop. This fields prop is an array of objects where each object define each one of the fields that are being displayed. For example, in our example, we have the Slack field, the description field, and the tags field for now. And as you can see here, we have the Slack field, the description field, and the tags field. And then for each one of these fields, we have several properties to add capabilities to each field. For example, I want a field to be searchable. I want to perform searches over the content of that field, but not on the content of others. And we can specify that. Or we can enable sorting for a specific field, but not for others. Or we can make a field not hideable, so users will not be able to hide a specific field. All of that is defined in this in the array of objects that is passed to the fields prop. This is here. Then we have the view. The view contains all the view settings. So for example, here, every time we change a setting here, the view object changes or should change, because this is the representation of the view settings. Every time I select a specific sort, that view object should change and should be passed to the React component, so the React component can reflect visually those changes. So we need to take care of updating this object. On change view is the callback that is called every time the UI changes, or every time a specific setting in the UI changes. And this is a great place to update the view and to update the data. So yeah, I think that we'll see how to do this later. Then we have the default layouts. The default layout is an array of objects that contains the list of layouts that are available to the user. We have right now we have only 3 types of layouts that can be enabled for the user. We have the list layout, the grid layout, and table. I guess that in the future there will be more, but we don't need to activate all of them. We can just activate 2 of them, for example, the grid and table, and keep list out, for example. So the specific layouts that we want to enable and its specific features are enabled through the default, what was the name? Default layouts prop. Okay. Then we have actions. Actions is an array of objects, and every object is an action that can be performed on each of the items in the UI. So if we go here, we can see an action edit. So this would be an action that has been passed through this prop. Okay, what else we have? Yeah, pagination info is we have here is an object with 2 properties: the total items and the total pages. And this object needs to be updated every time the settings change, because if we apply a filter, for example, there will be less items and there will be less pages to show. So this should be updated. So now that we have reviewed that, I also want to mention that in in the Storybook, so if we come here, all the components in WordPress are documented in the Storybook. The Storybook is a directory of examples for the components, where you can see each component in action and you can see the code, and yeah, it's a great reference. And at the end, we have the data views. And we have here a really cool example of using data views. We can see that we can order, we can hide, we can show fields, we have actions here. This is a primary action with an icon, then we have secondary actions. We have different layouts to show. What else? We can filter by several fields. For example, we can filter by the category field. We can remove these filters. What else? We can sort by the number of satellites, items per page. Yeah. So yes, you can see a full UI, and here's the code. This is the data. This is an array of objects, and then we have the fields, which is an array of objects describing each one of the fields. And as you can see, we have ID, label, and some properties, for example, to define if we want to search by this field or not, if we want to hide this, if we want to allow this field to be hidden or not. Yeah, the pagination info, and then the view, which is this is the initial view, but this object will change. But every time the settings of the UI change, this object will reflect those changes and will be passed to on-change view. So we need to make sure that this object is passed again to the data view component, so it's refreshed, so it's updated with that information. So we are okay, so let's go. I'm going to put this out of the app component just to clean this a little bit. Okay, so we have the fields prop. This fields prop is this one. Okay. In these fields, we are defining an array of objects, and each object is defining the capabilities of each field. So we have the field Slack, where all of them has the, well, this has changed. It was header before, but now is called label, this property. Then we have the ID. So we have the ID and the label. The ID is the internal Slack, and the label is the text that is displayed to the user. And then, for example, we can enable sorting by specific fields. So we are enable sorting by ID. I think that enable sorting, let me check if it's enabled by default or not. Enable sorting is true by default, so we don't really need to enable this. We only need to specify those we want to disable. And enable global search is false by default. So we need to enable the fields we want to search by. So we want to search by I don't really want to search. Well, yeah, I want to search by ID. I want to search by everything. Okay, and these fields are going to display the content of each item. So Slack and description, and then this is an array of tags. And we can also, there are two values to decide how do we want the value for that field to be displayed to the user. We have the get value, which is a function that returns a string. So I guess that we can do the same here. Yeah, we can, if we are just returning text, we can do this with the get value. Also, the get value is the value that is used for the search. So we want the search to take something into account, you can add that to the get value. So I'm going to leave this for now like this. Okay. I'm going to comment this. And I'm going to comment this because let me see, we have here an example. Okay, let's go. Let's go to Gutenberg. Let's go to the package DataViews. And let's see the use of filters, sort and paginate we can find here. Yeah, so this is what I wanted. Okay, so this is a very elegant way of updating everything. So in these lines, there is a lot going on. Okay, so we have the view and set view. So we define what is called a state variable. It's a variable that is supposed to reflect a specific state. So it will change at some point. And whenever that changes, the React component is rendered again. So we have a view and a set view. The view is the state variable, and the set view is the function that can be used to update view. And then we initialize the view with an initial content, an initial value, and this default view comes from fixtures. So we come here to fixtures. The specific view is fields, actions. Yeah, this is the default view that is being used. Type a table, search empty string, page 1, items per page 10. The fields that are going to be displayed by default are these ones, and no filters. So this is the default view. Okay, and once we have that, we are passing the set view directly to the onChange view. So every time the UI changes, every time there is a change in the UI, changing any order, any filter, any search, this callback is going to be triggered, it's going to activate set view, and it's going to pass directly the object with the structure that is used internally for the view to the view. So we can just pass the set view directly. So it's going to take a similar object than this one. It's going to pass a similar object than this one to the callback, which in our case is going to be set view. And that will update the view. And that will force a render. And that will also, because we are using this hook is going to be called every time view changes, because we are adding this as a dependency. So this is going to be run again, and this is using data, view, and fields. These variables are not going to change. These are constants, but this view is going to change. And filter, sort, and paginate is a function that is going to return two things. It's going to return property. It's going to return an object with two properties: the data property and the pagination info property. Pagination info is what we can pass directly to the data views component, and then shown data is the data already filtered, already processed using all the settings chosen by the user, any filter, any search, any order, etc. So with this, we have sorted out all the having these elements updated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to paste this here. I'm going to call this process data. And I'm going to call this data. Okay, use memo is not defined. An onChange view is not defined, because an onChange view, I'm going to assign this directly. What else? And use memo, I need to import it from React. Use memo. Okay, so this is work, and the code is much cleaner now. I'm going to also const default view. I think this is a good name, and I'm going to put everything this here. And what I'm going to do is, yeah. Perfect. So we have yeah, we have this, and with this we can sort ascending, descending. We can move left. Okay, we cannot move left. Why we cannot move left? Because one of the things we need to pass to this view is the fields we want to show by default. Okay, let's go to the DataViews component, to the view here, to the view. Okay, fields, the ID of the fields that are visible in the UI. So this affects also to things such as moving around the column. So we need to specify that. So if we go to the code and we select fields, and fields is an array of these elements: Slack, description, and tags, which is this. If we go now to the view, yeah, and now this works. We can move right, move left, and move right, and we can hide column, and we can show this column again. Perfect. Let's play a bit with this code. For example, in the data views, for the fields, let's disable hiding for a specific column. For example, the ID, the Slack, I don't want that column, that field to be hidden. So, because right now it can be hidden, let me check. Where is this? Yeah, here. So, yeah, we don't want this to be hidden. So let's add this property. Let me see. Let's add this enable hiding is true by default, whether the field can be hidden. Okay, it can be hidden by default, but I want to enable hiding false. Okay, so if we come here and if we come here, yeah, we cannot hide this, but we can hide this. Okay, so I think I'm going to stop here now, but I will continue working on this, and I'm going to try to work on this publicly. So yeah, things that I would like to do with this example is to see if I'm able to include routing, because I would like to, well, first I want to add filters by tags. So I can select specific tags like static rendering or minimal and filter the specific examples with specific tags. That's one thing. Second thing is add routing. So I can point to a specific path, and when I go to that path, it applies specific filters. And the other thing that I would like to do, I had another thing, but yeah, I'm going to start, going to focus on these two things. Yeah, another thing that I want to explore is if I go to the list, having a similar view than the one we have here for lists, for pages, here in pages, and display here maybe the markdown. I don't have clear how to do that, but that's something that I'm going to explore to see what can be done there. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to stop the streaming here, but the recording will be available in YouTube. Okay, perfect. So yeah, see you. Bye.